Hey, what going on? By the time you're listening to this, you're supposed to be having indigestion, acid reflux, all the old people problems. Your belly full? Yes. Think. Great one, boy. If you didn't know it, you already know it. We get a little bit of freedom this week, right? So we had to open this way in tribute to the great one, right?
Ring the bell, ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell down there.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell, ring the bell.
Ring the bell, ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for freedom. Or culture.
Ring the bell down there.
Ring the bell.
Freedom.
Yes. Ring the bell down there.
I said to ring up the bell for the rabbits of freedom.
Ring the bell down there.
Ring it all over.
Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Hey, welcome to episode 50. What we had, 59? Yeah, 59. The Corey Shepherd podcast. Welcome back to everybody who's been listening. Welcome to all the new listeners. And of course, in tribute, if you're listening to this, you know it coming, right? In tribute to the great one, the great brother Resistance. Take him in now.
Come on, brother leader.
Yes.
High time that you summon up the power. This time, bust it in the air bell. Well, look, I have a story to tell. Well, it's a long, long time now we fighting for freedom. Victory bound to come. Assemble the people, we sight up the mission. Let we rock the rhapsodydom.
Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell, ring the bell.
Ring the bell down there. Ring the bell for justice.
Yes. Ring the bell down there.
Ring the bell for culture.
Ring the bell down there.
Ring the bell for freedom.
Ring the bell down there.
I said to ring
it
up
all
the bell for
over.
the rhapsodydom.
Ring it all over.
Ring it all over.
Yes. Ring it all over.
Ring it all over. Ring it all over. Hey.
So yeah, boys, he passing about great one, Lutalo Musimba. And I see something happen this week. I want to talk about the food thing first, but before we get into it, we're going to talk about Brother Resistance for the whole episode, of course. But I see, thank goodness for my guys at Freetown Collective for pointing it out early, because I see it during the week and I couldn't believe what it is people doing. Because imagine a man like, the man's name is Resistance, you know what it takes to name yourself Resistance? Yeah, so you ain't standing up for certain thing when your name is Resistance. You're pushing against the system. Listen to all his music. His music tell a story. And for people to be paying tribute or think they're paying tribute to him and trying to call the man by some government name or some English name, when the man, I never hear him use that name ever in life. So I don't know what this the AKA, as if his sobriquet was Lutalo Musimba. I mean, the man name is brother. The sobriquet was Brother Resistance. The man named himself Lutalo Musimba. And they going calling him by the slave master name. It was so disrespectful. But I suppose I was glad that Freetown came on and talk about it, because I think he's right. And his approach to it was basically to tell people, rather than to get vexed like me and say why people so disrespectful. Because people could have genuinely not know that there's a thing. And if you're writing an article or you're making a post or you're paying tribute, you feel you're doing the right thing by calling a man by name, you know what I mean? I remember seeing it when Shadow passed away, when people were saying Mighty Shadow, when so many times in life he was saying he didn't like to be called Mighty. I always making mistake all the time. So salute again to Freetown for coming out and clearing that up, for Mohammed Markil for clearing that up for people, and we know better, so we do better. But again, ring the bell for a little freedom. Yes? Ring the bell, ring the bell. Ring the bell down there. Now, out of respect, I want to say ring the bell for every outlet that opened today, a restaurant. But out of respect, I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to say that. I attempted to say it, but I'm going to be respectful and not say that. But we start off the week today. This was the day that we get back. This was July 19th of July. And we get back some kind of freedom. So I guess what you going to say? Thanks to the people in authority for letting me go back to restaurants and eat something, because we really fed up with the We fed up with the home cooked food, the constant in the kitchen and thing. I was telling my neighbor this week. I grew up in a house with 13 people. I counted 13 people as the maximum among the people who was living in the house at any one time. And my mother tell me it had more than that too. I can't remember. And we had other aunt named Auntie Phyllis. God bless her soul. Auntie Phyllis used to be in the kitchen every day, whole day cooking. Behind this, we had a thing. Listen, there ain't no life to live. So you see, any time the household start to resemble that with somebody had to be in the kitchen. And I mean, all confessions and things, all the joke guys make, it ain't me. You know what I mean? So salute to Stacey for rallying through all this time and keeping me a little fed and rosy during these times. But I'm glad restaurants open back. And unfortunately, up to Monday when the restaurants open back, I ain't get to go nowhere and do nothing. I suppose planning out this episode and everything, getting better and my work and all them things. But observing what's going on because I was not alone. Maybe I was the only one who confessing it and saying was the real deal with my wife cooking all the time and them kind of thing. But everybody seemed to rush out because the drive-thrus was full. Well, I guess we expected that, right? The first thing I see in the morning was the doubles vendors. Of course, that is the first people to be open. So salute to the doubles vendors for being prepared and ready to be out there to serve us. We miss all you. I see some videos they post up to saying that they miss us. So we appreciate all you coming out early. But the lines was there. But people tried to do the right thing. People tried to do the right thing and have some social distancing. I don't know if I remember the first time we came off a lockdown. Or was it when they closed restaurants but they leave street food open? Within a couple of days, the crowds were so big by doubles vendors, they had to shut the whole thing down. And I was saying, listen, the vendors themselves, the food vendors, people had to take some responsibility for what is happening. But clearly, people had better systems. I think we as a people too, we get a little more accustomed to it. So we're going out there and we're doing the right thing and we're spreading out. And then by the time daytime, I see a man get a whole article or a video on CNC3 saying he's the first man to go in KFC. I mean, when they're now open, I thought KFC would be full like evening time and thing, but my guy went in one time and I mean, so just as we had suspected here, the prices KFC started to talk about, well, chicken going up and fries going up and old stale oil going up and all these things get expensive. So expect some increases in prices. I hear the CEO talking about increases in prices on some of the combos and things. He kind of said that some of the prices might go down and get adjusted, but I mean, we know it is. We see that coming a mile away. With the length of time you close, I mean, truth be told, a lot of things going up. We talk about it in grocery all the time. So my question is this. When I was small growing up, I wonder if people who listening to this, what's the cheapest all you ever pay for doubles? My cheapest was $1. We used to pay $1 in St. James for doubles all the time. St. James had the best doubles. Well, I used to find so when I was living in St. James, but after I went south and I get barra fry on the spot, I can't eat them box barra no more. But I talking about early 80s, mid 80s, late 80s. All them time doubles is $1, right? Doubles now is about is $5 I pay for doubles, right? That is, I guess, standard price everywhere. My question is this. If KFC and all them places going up, doubles probably going to go up too. Like, what are you willing to pay for doubles now? You could have worked with $5 and get 5 doubles. Now, you work with $5, you get a double. That's a wrap. That is it. Don't ask for no triple, don't ask for no nothing extra. You can't get into drink, none of them things. A matter of fact, buying doubles long time, the doubles were $1 and the juice was $1. Now it's a whole different ball game. I work with a hundred. So I want to know how much you're willing to pay for doubles. Because the question is always when it go up by kind of like odd numbers, like it go up by $1, now you have to work with $6 and doubles man had to figure out all this change thing. Suppose it go to a 10. Well, the people, and I'm going to say that because people in a boycott mood. We could talk about the boycotting thing in a little bit. But after all this time that businesses were closed and it's time to reopen, KFC themselves, well, them men decide that Charlotte Street is not for them no more. Salute to KFC. Them men decide again out of the Charlotte Street location because nobody ain't working in town. It's no set of people coming to buy things. It's no walk up traffic to no branch like what they need on up Charlotte Street. So anybody who on Upper Frederick Street, like excellent stores, anybody nearby, they only wet all the place one time now because fires is coming, you know what I mean? Fires is on the way. But I mean, all joke aside, KFC, Charlotte Street burned down. It's Charlotte Street, right? Yeah, Charlotte Street is burned down like the day before restaurants supposed to open. And I figured that KFC, in trying to innovate, only remember when they come out with the trucks, them and Royal Castle come with trucks. Royal Castle had trucks before. I never see a KFC truck except in a fete and carnival Monday and Tuesday. But they bring out trucks like they want to sell on location, which is a good business idea even outside of COVID, because the closer KFC is to me, is the more that I going to eat. You know what I mean? But they also, well, that gets shut down fast. But this idea of burning down restaurants, let me not say that, I and libel up myself. When restaurants burn down, was it used to reopen a location where there's a set of walking traffic in a city where people might never go back to work in the same kind of hours that they work back and have the same lunchtime that they used to have before? What about if KFC hit with Amazon? So instead of going to this system where I had to go and find a KFC and all this kind of thing, I'm sure you all use the KFC app before. There's not a KFC ad or nothing. No? I only get a sponsor from KFC for talking about them so long. But we use the app and thing to order or call and place your order and them things, right? I thinking of this. If they don't study this thing about delivering from your nearest restaurant, but they put one in Port of Spain, one in Chagonas, one in Arima, one in South, you know what I mean? Central locations, like a police precinct. And they put them things there. And when you order, your food coming from this. So you're not a fight up with people who line up and who in drive-through and all them things on days like today when the restaurant overfull and the people can't serve enough people. You not to worry about that. And you put some back kitchen somewhere. So even when you shut down restaurants, what they go do, they can shut them down. Because if you have a location somewhere where you're serving food from or making you different from anybody else who catering food for groceries at the time. Because I mean, all you hearing all this story about who variant and this variant and that. So we can't just take it for granted that because food open back and borders open and we gain some kind of freedom, that this is freedom forever and ever, amen. We might be locked down again, so who knows? KFC, you know. Again, I'm sorry to hear the restaurant burn down. Let me change my tongue. I'm sorry to hear that the restaurant burn down. It's such a sad thing, you know what I mean? And you know, for the employees, I hope nobody lose their job and all these things, and they get sent to other locations. But other than the brick and mortar restaurants, who they are sure they do good today, you know. Instagram is telling a story. People like to post. We like to be first in this country. So everybody posting up their KFC lunchtime and who in their Starbucks cup and it's like finally and all them things. And the street vendors in South, I feel sorry for them a kind of way because bad boy Regrello down in Southland, the mayor of San Fernando, come out and say basically, hey, here what's going on. Ole can't come out. Ole has caused too much a crowd down in these streets. So we're not letting Ole come out and sell nothing. So let me read. I'm reading straight from the Express, right? It's from the 14th of July. Relief has turned into disappointment. Let me tell you who read the article and thing. Let me give credit where it's due. It's by Sasha Wilson, 14th of July from the Express. From CNC3, sorry, not the Express. CNC3, Sasha Wilson, right? Relief has turned into disappointment for food vendors at the popular cross-crossing strip who have been stopped by San Fernando City Corporation from reopening on Monday. That would be the 19th, right? Lamenting that they have been under financial hardships, I'm sure, due to lockdown restrictions, they are pleading with the mayor to reconsider. However, San Fernando Mayor Junior Regrello, for some reason Junior spelled Junia, Junior Regrello says he's putting lives ahead of livelihoods. You see how talk is just spread around? That was the Prime Minister saying, lives ahead of livelihood. As the 400-foot strip in San Fernando attracts large gatherings. In fact, the mayor said, street vending businesses in San Fernando that attract, listen, reading is fundamental. In fact, the mayor said that other street vending businesses in San Fernando that attract large gatherings will also be not allowed to be open. He said they ain't opening no way if it's attracting large gatherings. Right? I had to talk while I was talking. I can't read so well enough. Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley stated that all restaurants, food establishments, itinerary... Alright, that's enough of the article. So basically, the man say anywhere that attracting crowds. Now, if you know the cross in cross-crossing, I can't say the brother wrong. The man right. Because the cross, number one, it have a slight one way in, one way out kind of thing. That leads to a kind of bottlenecking anyway. Because if you're driving, if you know the cross, you know the cross, right? When you head into the cross, you had to turn wrong to come back out if you're coming from a certain direction. So it could lead to traffic, both for traffic and vehicle traffic, and cause a set of jam up. And the cross, when I know it initially, used to have a few people selling things, but now is all kind of different food things, which makes for a good little lime or a good little spot to get food. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, is Unipet open a gas station there too, and the Unipet gas station now, they selling a lot of pies and food and pre-prepared food and all those types of things. So it's going to attract a large group of people, but I ain't saying you're wrong about that, but I feel like in cases like these, we had to find some kind of middle ground. Like, why wouldn't say, and this come down to how we regulate things in this country. Like, you couldn't come out and tell people, like, let me stagger the days. Sorry, hot dog, corn soup, and bacon shack only come out Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you're selling roti, I don't know what else they're selling. Whatever the other three things is, only come out Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or something like that, and rotate a Saturday for everybody because that will be a heavy day or something. It can't be that we just say the term lives over livelihood because it sounds like a nice catchphrase and pretend that your life could be anything without your livelihood. You understand what I mean? It's like we pretending as if once you live, it don't matter if you have money or you have a job or you have some kind of income or anything like that. That's a real harsh blow for people to wait so long. And I think somewhere in the end of the article, he say, well, let me give it until next week to see. And this is my opinion, right? That stems from the same attitude of the leadership in the country because that is how they move. They just basically say, all right, wait till next week and see now. As if a week income, inconsequential. When I can't pay my rent or I pay in a week late or into my savings and there's an extra week where I have to dip into it, it don't matter. It's all right. You know what I mean? Lives over livelihood. So just eat that and cool it. No pun intended. I find it was a harsh move. And this is what I mean with the whole last minute thing. It's very, very Trinidadian, you know? But you know restaurants will be reopened at some point. You know that at some point street food gonna reopen too. You also know that in your, what is called that where mayor ruling over, in your place, Sando, you know it have street vendors that is cause crowd. Why are you waiting until the Prime Minister make an announcement for the 19th to start putting things in place? Like, all you don't know these people, all you don't go down there and check the people. I show you yourself, Regalo is buying cross-crossing, is lime and cross-crossing, you know what I mean? You the mayor, you're supposed to know the whole area. So since the place locked down the first time, that is about a month and a half, 2 months, whatever it is. You could bring these people together, have a meeting, try and work out, all right, well, this is how we'll come out. We'll do a little thing, all right, we'll do a lengthy hours during the day. These people only could come out and sell food until 9 o'clock. The crosses are places run late. Plenty of the food on the crosses be selling late in the night. But now they done a restricted hours already, but you there to tell them now, listen, hold a little week, and we will see what it is happening. I find it's an overall lack of planning, is a lack of consideration. It reeks of the same thing we've been going through, where COVID concerned, since the beginning. You know what I mean? But again, we get a little freedom, so I'm glad for that. So I don't want to dampen this in no way. Nah, I don't want to bad talk nobody for them to close down restaurants again or nothing like that. I'm glad to see we could go out and buy food. I don't know what I will buy first. I feel I started with them about Wednesday. Again, a time for the crowd to clear up and them kind of thing. And then I run it in. When I run in, I eat everything. It makes me wonder what the great Lutalamo Simba would have say about that. What do you think he'd have say if he was one of the if he was one of them vendors down there? What do you think he'd have say? Yes. Hey, you know I'm obsessed with opening lines in a song. Yeah, the opening line in this song now, boy.
I walk my finger to the bone for my country. I squeeze blood out a stone for my country. The people in authority mashing up my family. So much a years that we sweat and toil is we blood and tears with till the soil, but we still suffering today.
Yes.
And we children can't see the way. Hey, I wake up in the morning and it's unemployment. I can't take that. Get up in the morning and it's more retrenchment. I can't take that. When they want to stop all this humiliation, I can't take that.
They close down the cross and it's more frustration.
I can't take that. No, ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that.
No,
ain't
Hear me.
I love to live, but my life is a scramble.
I have to teach to put a bread on my table.
You mock democracy,
Yes.
licking up my dignity.
Oh God.
So much a hungry mouth is to feed is we cry blood just to sow the seed, but we still
Suffering in pain, and with children feeling the strain. Yes.
I wake up in the morning and it's unemployment. I can't take that.
Get up in the morning and it's more retrenchment. I can't take that.
When they going to stop all this humiliation, I can't take that. I wake up in the morning and it's
More frustration. I can't take that.
no.
Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. I wonder if we could take them price hike on them. We could take them price rises. You feel boy, and we will just run out and buy still. What do you think? Because I see people saying boycott, you know. We will get to the vaccine thing, right? But people was talking about boycotting because vaccines, not food prices, right? All you feel willing to boycott for food prices? I know. I never see Trinis do it before in Master. Here we say.
I had to cry from the belly of the nation. You mash me corn and you cause aggravation. Life under poverty
Yes?
is endless agony.
Oh, God.
And after all that we sacrifice, dog eat we dinner and we pay the price. But we must get justice today,
Yes?
so we children could see the way. Hey,
Wake up in the morning and it's unemployment. I can't take that. Get up in the morning and it's more retrenchment. I can't take that. When they're going to stop all this humiliation, I can't take that. Wake up in the morning and it's more frustration. I can't take that.
no.
Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that.
Ain't taking that, so the people ain't taking that.
Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Ain't taking that. So the people ain't taking that. Or maybe we go just take it, yes? To be honest with you, maybe we might just take it. Salute to the people at the Carnival Institute, because I see them publishing on the Instagram. My boy Kern Christopher and the squad of the Carnival Institute, NCC organization, right? They were publishing some clips from an interview. I was trying to see if I could see the whole interview with Brother Resistance on it. And it's some nice little learnings about him, you know, because his some of the things that I didn't know, right? I know him as a pioneer in the rap soul movement, and we'll talk about that. But he also was the president of Tuco for a long time, and Tuco had the ups and downs, they had the ins and outs. People used to say, you know, anytime you call him for your money for anything you do for Tuco, he tell you, well, we have no money at that thing, you know. It's not to say that he was perfect, but he stood up for that. And to think that, of course, Tuco is a Calypso organization and rap, so I don't know if it was ever recognized or people see Rapso as Calypso, but Rapso man ended up being in charge of Calypso for a long time, and one of the head men in the thing. And in watching that interview at Carnival Institute, I saw where they were saying that his store on the People's Mall, I think it's surprising they said the name of the store was, well, what we know as the Drag Mall, right? And Drag Mall, for people who might not have been around then, was between Frederick and Henry Street. Oh God, now my mother could be laughing because I don't know street names in tongue at all. You know. I think it's below, boy, me know the hell the name of these streets is now, boy. Between Frederick and Henry, at some point, it used to have a place called the Drag Mall, right? And it was a place where all of us as youths, when I was growing up, that the drag was the place you go in to get your little brands and thing, especially when your money ain't long, your money small, you had a bargain, you had to thing, you know what I mean? That was the place where you used to get. And you might still see them now where Francis Fashions is. I think they're still there on Henry Street coming up there. You still see people selling on that side of it. You know, I'm saying that now and I'm wondering if, like, you could still walk inside the drag mall and think. Now that I'm saying that, I can't remember. Because you could have walked straight through from Frederick Street to Henry Street, and they had stores all in between. As a matter of fact, you could have get lost inside it. And, well, all that being said, he had a store inside there called Uprising, and that, he was saying, was the place where anybody want to get in touch with Calypsonians used to link the store right there. You know what I mean? And he get the booking information, wherever the price is, they send the deposit there, and they sort out everything for the Calypsonians. So it come like he was a leader in Calypso and a leader of Calypso along with rap. So for a long time, long before he was the head of Tuco, the interviewer was saying that she went there, she used to go there to see Black Stallion and them kind of thing. Of course, that would have been before my time. I don't know about it. But what I do know is that when I was working in town, I used to see him around there all the time. He used to be hanging around outside Moda Live. They had some fellas used to drum and thing. That was the little squad. He used to be in Woodford Square by the Herbsman Lyman. Or right down in the Drag Mall on the outside. The Drag Mall gets to be a place where people used to go there to buy the red mango and them kind of thing opposite Pizza Boys there on Frederick Street. And he used to be hanging around there all the time. And one thing about him, he always had a kind of presence. He was always in character. No matter when you see him, he was always brother resistance. That's one of the things about Calypsonians. As when I'm talking to my father about this, he's always say that. He say a Calypsonian is a brand. And they stay true to their brand. They wasn't, you ain't finding them dressing like no next man and they riding the same rhythm as a man and singing up the same hooks and the same melodies. No knock on anybody who doing anything now, but it was a real different time then when you look at how he was. I never see him dressed any differently than African garb and he Rasta hat on. Never. I don't know if anybody ever see that. You know who I was mentioned about that too? You see Duke? Duke was a Calypsonian. If people remember the Mighty Duke, I'll do a whole episode on Duke one day. But Duke always used to be dressed. He was known as a style man. He like a see-through shirt too, you know. And you used to see Duke working in town when Duke come in town and I'm talking about coming to your city to pay bill and them kind of thing. Duke come in dressed up as if he going to do a Calypso Monarch performance that night or that day. Looking like he ready for the part and at any given time. So, I mean, salute and rest in peace to Brother Resistance, a real leader, anything. You saw the Rapso movement come out and talk a lot about him. So I was looking at Omari Ashby, who would have been with Kindred, Ataclan. I saw tributes coming from all of them. And I taken a nice little show that Omari do last week with Rhoda Barrett on News Source. I always like watching News Source. She always have some, she's do the political and the hard news and the bad talk the government and licks the opposition. She's do a lot of that, but she's also do just real interesting things. And the last thing I think I talk about with her here was when she did something for Father's Day and something with the single mothers and them kind of thing. But this time she brought Omari Ashby and Mr. Shaq on to talk about the purpose of orators. Let me say it in the English way, right? The purpose of orators in music and why we sometimes as a society don't respect the orator. Or what you call the griot in African tradition, right? The griot was the one who used to tell these stories and keep the tradition and pass it from generation to generation. You know what I mean? And when you look at a Rapso man is really a griot. I would not talk it too much because, you know me, I love Calypso and the way Calypso timeless and it puts stories so you could go back to any era or talk about any topic and relate Calypso right back to it. But Rapso, when you listen to Rapso, it was maybe more lyrical than Calypso, but also much more topical. Not necessarily on the specific topic of the day, like current affairs. But what they were talking about is societal issues. So when you hear Brother Resistance sing a song like Can't Take That, them songs cannot die. Because look at what happened in the world today. It's always relevant. When you talk about unemployment going up, retrenchment going up, them things never change. So Rapso itself have a kind of rebellion built into it and the spoken word and really the griot carrying these stories from generation to generation. And when you hear the way, I mean, up to when I recording this, I still see in posts from Rapso men talking about him, the influence he had on them, the positivity he had, the words he would leave them with and thing. And it made me realize how much he would have influenced a generation of people. Now, he had paid a lot of respect because when they asked him who was his influence, because he said he started with Calypso. And he was talking about doing poems in QRC. But QRC is not the greatest school they ever had. So I doubt QRC would be any good at recognizing any talent that they have and thing. But he said he do poems and the English teacher tell him that I don't know poem because he write it in the dialect and he wouldn't write it in no Queen English, whoever the Queen be. And that's what make him take them poems and turn them into what we know as Rapso, you know. And he gave a lot of respect to Mighty Sparrow for being one of his main musical influences. He said, well, of course, Lancelot Lane, who would have been, I could say, the originator of Rapso. He was talking about his influences and all that. But I was looking more so at the people who he influenced. And I wonder if people could remember the Kiskadee Caravan. Like, I mean, anybody in my era and my time would remember Kiskadee Caravan and how important they were to just our youth. we were following that 100%. You see, like how youths now like that zest movement. That's how we were when Kiss the Caravan. That would have been Robert Amara at the time, right? Coming out with a bunch of youths. The word caravan come about because they was performing all over the place. Them fellas, I would love to know what the numbers were. Because they talk about Marshall Monday and how big it was in the stadium and thinking about Kiss the Caravan as a bunch of young artists was pulling numbers and filling out the stadium. It was a vibe. And when you listen to how many of them were influenced by the way Brother Resistance would deliver and what he was calling rap. So, and I even see a post this week, strange enough, like a random thing asking who is the first real dancehall artist in Trinidad. And when I see some people responses, I say, nah, boy, I come and talk about this and go through a little history because Swanee and S. Carter and them is the names calling up. I think about what is this people talking about? And people might be saying General Grant. I guess maybe I remember in my young days when Magadan was going, St. James Seki was doing dancehall. I wonder if he would say that what he was doing was dancehall. He was chanting then. And Bungie and them up in Arima, Bungie and Squeezy and them fellas was dancehall them men was doing, and Jabami and them. So I know where people getting this idea S. Carter and them kind of things as being anywhere near starting off with dancehall. But let me play some of the influences that Rapso, where you could hear that Rapso and serious messages coming through in music, no doubt influenced by Brother Resistance. All you remember this, boy?
Did you know, this Janika flow? Did you know, this Janika damn well flow? Did you know, this Janika flow? Did you know, stop, bring the intro, stop, it just come again, and we bring a brand new vibe,
yes.
A brand new style of rap, so from a brand new type of tribe, yeah. Take the drum of Africa and give it all we played, feel the vibe of a ramp, they going down the Lancelot Lane, flow, you see how he rap so it can flow, so Kid just come to show them what we knew they didn't know, and all at the nation they just come and gather round, to listen to the rap, so it be rough and rugged song. Did you know, this Janika flow? Did you know, this Janika damn well flow? Did you know, this Janika flow? Did you know, stop, come there we go.
And I wonder if they can remember this too.
Rap so children say, watch out, make room, cause home front back with a boom.
Yes? Remember this, boy? Time you had to beg to go out.
Born in the heat of the 17th session, when the people beat and the stamp for depression, and the march in the street with the drum and percussion. They provide the beat for the boom generation. Barrel from hell, head start the reaction. Shadow he tell, who base up the nation. Under as well when he launched the creation. As sweet shadow fell on the boom generation.
So bass man, if you're ready, say you're ready.
Ready.
Drum man, say you're ready if you're ready.
Ready.
People say you're ready if you're ready.
Be ready. Listen, when they talk about lyrics, right? When I listen to this when I small, all I know is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. I just go in and boom mode, you know. I never realized when they say boom generation, they're really talking about the oil boom generation. They think had serious messages, you know, but I never paid no mind. They had a song like this too. And this Ataclan Ozzy Merrick, and I can't remember, there was a girl name in the group too. God, I can't remember her name, but Ataclan Ozzy Merrick since then.
Home front
to grow. Give yourself a chance.
Wherever you
Let
may.
the spirit start to dance. Free yourself.
Bambaye,
Free
bambale.
yourself. Let the spirit start to sing.
Listen, so there's a powerhouse. Look what Aussie American them went on to do as solo careers and at a clan and thing, getting in soca and with rap so and with soca. For years after and them days again, when you listen to the lyrics in the song about free yourself and then give yourself a try, I never really realized how serious them songs was, or even Kindred, everything they sing had a message. The things had messages behind them all the time. And when they talk about early dancehall in Escata, I started studying now if they remember things like this.
Danger. Kindly ask to know the letter of all the song with a cheer for the bone of hear this.
What?
Tell people. I'm a big one, man. I'm a big one, crazy.
Remember this one?
Tell them.
Yeah, call ball out for me. And in the air, boom, let me see. Yeah, call ball out for me.
Everybody want to know what the rockin' clever. When the first time me tune big up on the radio, people say it sound like a Jamaican. Some say cut it wrong, some buju bantan. But I lie them, I tell it a Trinidad John. Me born and grow, yeah, me just change up me clang. Listen, me voice good, then don't get me wrong. I'm not cut it wrong, nor buju bantan. Yeah, come ball out for me. And inna the air, let me see. Yeah, come ball out for me. And inna the air, let me see. And the music I really got to be serious. Now I don't know what I know of you just.
Yes.
Oh, the edge, I know me can't touch. Let me listen to them. I know me Bible, got them a part in my ears.
Pass
to
me what?
Never make me happy. I just make my son.
Yes.
Make music. Never show no regard. Where's either wrong? Could I get down? But to the MLP alone, they can't fall down. So come along, people, I start singing my song.
Yeah, call ball out. Like I try to remember if they remember men like this. Listen, I could bet money. You can remember Edu, right? Edu went on to own Edu Welding Supplies and Electrical. Now that's a damn lie, but it was a song good anyhow. But yeah, I don't know for sure. I didn't remember this, huh? Let me see how good it is.
Hey boy, me and good loving in work. Me and the police for good loving. When my all good love, me penalize it and charge it for sweetness. Run things. Now here we go around the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go around the mulberry bush, and me go wait until them come watch it. Tender love enough it die, enough it die. Tender love enough it, enough it, enough it die. Tender love enough it die, enough it die. Tender love enough it die, 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 die.
Hey, what about this? If you're from this area, you're supposed to know this for sure.
The blood talk. Ow! Child,
I never know what he's saying now.
in position. What's the explosion? Ambush, yeah, me enemy them. Ambush, me I go get them problem. Ambush, yeah, me enemy them. I go and rock where you find, rip where your sister. It's a long time now, this shit I don't make king. But they couldn't find while I was in the high bush living. And all this time for station overtaking. And I envy little youth want to play entertain them. Tell the whole heap of people that in touch road with. But right you know Jaman is a whole heap of killing. One to be and for the man fall, you will not find him. Dress up in a suit in a flash coffin. Bring him back in family screaming. And then me bad boys through in the background laughing. You want to play John Wayne, but you know worth one thing. Right you know Jaman the Magaman preaching me.
And if you must know this, you know what I mean?
You know you run things for years. And now Ricky down says so if the people say so. So come big up your chest like you are strong man. Anything.
Hey, everybody calm down. Calm down. All your old bones creaking. Anytime you ever remember this too good, your knees cracking when the morning come. It take a while to come off your bed. So when you look at how much influences a man like Brother Resistance would have over people, so I mean, and even when what we call him then, we didn't really give it no next name, you know. When you think of it, all of that, why I play they could fall in as rap. So if you want to call it Trinidad dancehall, you had that, but it wasn't that a real need to rename it at the point in time. Them fellas just do it, and the best of them went out there, and them men rock real big crowds. But one of the biggest out of all of them. I wonder if you remember the video too.
Now stand tall, and all it is the program blood one fall. Now you know saying to ain't out by the international. Hear me now. And some boy must do the program kind of start if you only got one part. Hear me now. Damn 92 selection, give me the general, give me no official. Watch out, they shot call. In the dance, they shot call.
Hey, I had this on the plate, you know, but just one more, because salute to the great Remember this woman? Sister run and come. Sister run, you see the sister run and come.
Sister run, I come. Me sit on top of them murder, me sit on top of them version. Another black, he cheat a dick, come on. You know, black is I am, and I am where I wanna be. If you think I'm moving too fast and get your ass in front of me, kicking the lyrics like this, I'm kicking the lyrics like that. Rubbing on my vocals to a shot track. It's like this, it's like that, y'all. I'm having a damn ball. You can get me to stop with a round of applause. I don't give a damn. I deal with the facts. I wanna kick it up, kicking the lyrics. All the brothers that got my back, 'cause I'm a sister who can sing into a song, get down like the Porky James Brown, my song. It's not one you can't sleep to, so gotta set up a rock so you know what I can do.
You never see she, you never hear she, but here she come. With a bye.
Yeah, I just want to hear a little piece of the general ground. But yeah, so when you look at Brother Resistance himself, God bless him, rest in peace, and the influence and the trail he leave here, or the legacy he leave, you start to understand what kind of man he is and how much of them things. So when you look now, right, at what we call in Zest movement, or Trinidad, or whatever you want to call it, when you look at it now, it's not far from anything, not them fellas doing anything new, and not far from anything that was being done back then. Now people go complain and say the lyric, because when you're children listening to that, it is be hard. Eh? I have a little sister, she's Zest Banton. Everything is these young artists. And listen, salute to one youth named Larynx Merritt, who singing a positive song about, but I struggle to find very positive songs in the mix. Them songs is either about woman, I can't even say woman, no? Because it's not woman like lovely and your shape and isn't she beautiful. It's not that kind of woman, right? And then is straight gunman and who had bust on them kind of thing. And I mean, all right, okay. And not and money and gold and drugs and the full works. But I find that, and you know, I always say I to give these youths time to evolve. Eh? But when you look back at and not that we want to always go back in time had to move forward, right? And people had to evolve and do what they're doing. But when you look at the starting point of most of the artists I played there, compared to the starting points of most of the Trinidad artists, now there's a big difference, you know, in terms of the positivity of the messages themselves. We had some real positive messages out there. But I hope these youths now find their way and start to sing music that uplift. And, you know what I mean? They have a generation of youths in their hand. Just like how Kiskadi Caravan had we. The Trinidad movement had them youths now. So hopefully they start to change the tune a little bit. And I never hear nobody in Kiskadi Caravan getting gunned down. I couldn't imagine nothing like that back then, you know what I mean? Different time and everything, but it's so sad that you're seeing them youths like Rebel 6 and K-Line and things dying. Them fellas young, like little boys, coming dead for nothing. When they could have had bright careers ahead of them when you listen to some of the music they sing. But next day for Trinidad, we just want to salute the great Vitalo Masimba, Brother Resistance, and appreciate everything I've done for you. And I want to say as well, right, that is why I like doing this little podcast and this thing, and I appreciate the people who listen and give me feedback, because we had to find ways to give people their flowers and appreciate what we have before we see them go. Like I see this week was Minshall birthday as well. Legend anything. Legendary. And you know, people like to say, I saw it a lot when Brother Resistance died too, where people say local legend. Why a man had to be confined? Like how Minshall, when I see Minshall, Minshall struggling with the Instagram, and on the next note, somebody had to help Peter Minshall with the Instagram. It must have somebody young who handling that, who could do a better job, because you know when it's your birthday, right? And everybody say happy birthday, salute. I had some birthday shout outs, salute my girl Asia, Cash, Chisholm, Shepherd Bab, Sampson, and Kelly Atanas on their birthday, salute to them. But you know when it's your birthday and plenty people tell you happy birthday, you just post it up in your stories, like nobody didn't tell Peter Minshall that. So we kind of watching for the whole week while he repost every single one of these things on the man timeline, about 18 new posts with birthday wishes. But when you see somebody like Peter Minshall celebrating an 80th birthday icon and a milestone, it's like I don't understand this term where we have to say like he's a local icon. Peter Minshall's an icon anywhere he go in the world, recognized any and everywhere. So salute to him and happy birthday to him. And that is why I like this space, because we could appreciate people like Peter Minshall and them while they're here, and not always have to wait. I'm not here to do no RIP thing every week. I want to appreciate something too. The reality is this: the age we at now, a lot of the artists and our icons and our legends and so on, who we would have seen as elders when we was coming up. They're starting to hit that age. So I see people post all the time, God boy, 2021, don't quit on 2020. It's just the reality at the time that we in. So I see Bismarcky pass away as well. All right, rest in peace to him and condolences to his family. Now, he was no old fella and thing, but the point I'm making is as we start to get older, the people we look up to get older too, you know what I mean? So we'll go through this. So it's like we have so much icons in and around now. And I don't want to call no names because I want to call no name next to people think and I blight now because I call people name before they kick the bucket. But we have so much of them alive and well now. Some alive and struggling, some alive and well, some still performing and touring and putting out music and them kind of thing. And we don't take the time to show them that appreciation. I was saying the same thing about our sports team. Well, maybe I should not bring up our sports team. Maybe I should not bring up that, but we had to take the time to show these fellas that we love them still. I saw, as we talking Soca Warriors and sports, I saw before the game, the last game we played was who? Ecuador. Why are you saying Ecuador? We play El Salvador and we lost, and then we play Guatemala, and we kind of lost. You know what I mean? But before that Guatemala game, I see Leroy Span, who used to be on strike squad, coming to check out game. His son had played for Soca Warriors too. His son was Silvio Span, if I'm not mistaken. But you could see where these fellas still around the game and coming to support. Understand that when that Guatemala game was coming up, we had very little chance, if any, to qualify. I think Mexico had to lose their game by a margin, and we had to win our game by a margin to squeeze through. But I mean, El Salvador wasn't beating Mexico. Apparently, we wasn't beating Guatemala neither. I mean to say Guatemala, these are sides we're supposed to beat. In my humble opinion, these are sides that we're supposed to be beating up. But apparently it wasn't to be. But I want to say salute to the Soca Warriors, and salute in particular to Angus Eve as well, because I saw something that I haven't seen for a long time, to be honest. I saw a team that going out there and fighting. They look a little better than they were looking before in terms of how well organized the team was on the field. For a little while, right? Stick with me, right, sports fans? It worked for a little while. When I say a little while, maybe 15, 20 minutes, because the team, I think that we was just too unfit. And in fairness to Angus, even in fairness to the boys, or the squad, we had to play 5 games over the course of 2 weeks, when the bigger teams who we playing only had to play 3 games. I think that was always going to work against us. I don't think that Gold Cup thing, I'm going to be one of them people, because we ain't qualified, it ain't fair. I don't find it fair. I think they need to change that format, or we need to get our football in order so we're not playing any preliminary games to go into no Gold Cup. It's too hard. And the players, coming off a pandemic, I guess everybody was coming off a pandemic, but we look particularly unfit. And it's show, boy. We put up a good fight against El Salvador. We was looking good. We was toe-to-toe with them for a good while. And then, boy, and goal going. We just didn't have the fight in us to get up and down the field fast enough. We looking a little toothless in attack too. Salute to more looking good up there. I ain't not sure what I tell from fellow. I ain't not sure about him. But again, and unsurprisingly, the man who I am Molino down as the next coming of Stern John, who going to score the most goals for Trinidad, but he never really looked 100% there in this tournament. And I don't know if he was injured or if the position he played not suiting him. He never looked as deadly or as effective as he's usually look. And I kept saying too that side is a different kind of side without Highland. And Highlander is a different story, boy. And Highland and Buko, they managed to control a space and allow us to go from defense to attack a little better. And then we didn't have Levi Garcia, we didn't have Joven Jones. Well, it come like when we had Joven Jones, we really didn't have him now. So I don't know if that's making a difference, but salute to them. I really come to bad talk people, but when I see the game in Guatemala, I say, all right, them fellas have a lot of fight in them, and I'm hoping that they could get the fitness side of the game together, so that we could compete at a different level. I don't even know when is the next time we get to play as a unit. But what I do have a lot of faith in, based on what I see in them 5 games that we play, I think Angus could do something for us that we haven't been able to do for a long time. And that is to inspire And once he could continue to inspire youths, because you're seeing youths who going out there. I mean, maybe Angus to organize a little media training so people know how to answer a little question and them thing when you think coming here now. Man. We ain't sounding good out in these streets. But other than that, them fellas playing and they giving everything. You know, it's young players in the mix and thing they out there. And at least you have somebody who the players seem to want to fight for out there. And if he here locally, with the local base players, the foreign base players will have a level of professionalism, exposure, all those types of things whenever they come back to join the squad that we will take. But if he could continue to develop local players in terms of that mentality, help them to make sure their fitness right as a professional, and we have a system or a way that we play as Trinidadians. Or position aside, we have a way we train and a way, you know, and it goes back to that same thing I was saying before about Rapso versus Zest. Things that a move, right? I don't want to sound like the old man who trying to make everything stay in the same place right through, right? So what I'm trying to say is that we don't have to always throw away everything that is old when we create something that is new. So I was hearing Brother Resistance talking about, in that interview, it make me realize something, because he was talking about Calypso. Or maybe, sorry, that would be probably Mr. Shaq and Omari on Rhoda Barrett show. They were saying that the Rapso come from mixing rap with Calypso. And you know, the things kind of build off one another. And when you look at soca is soul or Calypso. So at the time, Calypso was already a global art form. It was already there. But we somehow decide to change the name or rebrand, which people do from time to time, right? Now and again, years burn down our outlet, and now and again, years change from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC. Rebranding is a thing. But we rebrand and tend to lose touch with the original thing. And I heard people talk about this with dancehall and reggae before. If I heard Busy Signal in an interview saying that the music he does is reggae and dancehall is a venue. And what he's talking about is that the world knows reggae. Anywhere you go in the world, they know Bob Marley and they know Dennis Brown and they know Peter Tosh and Bunny Wailer long before they would have know who is Alkaline or the next one named Squash, or what was this next youth one named Plane Just Crash with the Coke, whatever the hell his name is. Nobody don't know them in the way people know Bob Marley. No knock on them, of course, but they're trying to, the senior artists now, trying to say, hey, let we don't throw away the word reggae when we go in with the creation of a new genre, because that could help us. We will start from a higher base. And it's the same thing I be saying here, like, we come, Zest is good. And you want to come out with dancehall and thing, but Trinidad have very little connection to anything that we've been doing before. And it's so easy to connect everything that Trinidad doing to Rapso as being the closest in the genres that we have to what them youths doing in Trinidad. And that's why I really rate this youth they call Young Brother. If you don't follow this man, follow him. Eventually you'll get to like him, right? Even if you didn't like him first. It's YUNGBREDDA on Instagram. He is vibes. But one thing I could tell you is that for a young, I was telling Stacey this week that I have a tendency to watch everybody and feel there's my age, right? But I want to say that this youth man might be 20. He young. Them fellas in the early 20s, if that. And it's him and a DJ. Well, him and two DJs. And the DJs is hype men, everything. Them men just have vibes. And he looked like he could say anything on a mic and on any rhythm and make it into something. But what I realized with them youth men is that they're very, very connected to Calypso and thing, because with all the dance, all the singing and thing, it crude and thing, But I hear him take a piece of Shadow song. You working? No. You joking? You're looking for horn, plenty. And he take a piece of that and turn it into a dancehall kind of style we could play now. I like that. I find he might have ability to do that. And he nowhere near mainstream or anything yet, but he will get his music playing and thing. Little thing he do on Instagram, playing and dance in Jamaica already. So I'm hoping to see him rise higher and higher. And I could see, and even sometimes when he go on Instagram, his DJ just playing, the DJs and them know soca music, old and new. They're good in music overall. So I'm hoping that they connect and come true. But what I'm saying is the same thing we do with these sports. Because somebody had to explain to me what is the reason. Like when you listen to slave masters and them, who's back the slave side? Everybody who is back, the enslavers were the most of the Africans. they call this side Le Bleu. You know what I mean? Every for decades, it's Le Bleu, blah, 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 blah. They can't win a damn thing. And then the people with the in England, the Barmy Army, and they can't win a damn thing. And then Italy win this year is Azzurri, and you're hearing people. So why trying to understand, right? It's like, why did we change from the strike squad to the Soca Warriors? Now, I will never complain about that too much because Soca Warriors had the name Soca in it, so I can understand that something. But like, we build something as a strike squad that see this nation come together in a way and come and support something that we might have never seen before. And I'm not saying that the Soca Warriors don't inspire that. I'm just trying to understand like why we disconnect the past from the present so much. Because the strike squad is more of a movement than a team. So when you look at when Soca Warriors, I wonder when was the first time they came out with the Soca Warriors team? Was that when we qualify, or did they come out with Soca Warriors before? And is it a name that somebody came up with, then Maximus sing the song, or did Maximus sing a song and we take that as the adopted name of the team? Because just like how Maximus, I played that song last week with We Are Warriors. I mean, that song bad regard. You don't matter play that song for football. That song, both the original and the way he do the remix, was two bad songs. But like, even the Strike Squad also had a bunch of songs that was making you feel a certain way.
This one dedicated to all Strike Force massive.
Remember this?
Man like Clayton Morris, Dwight York, Dexter Lee, and Maurice Alabi for the victory. Play ball.
Victory to the Strike Force of TMT.
No, I know why they say Strike Force.
Because we know for sure we on the road to Italy.
We never reach
the youngest lowest
to put it in the net for we. And bring pride and joy to the people in this country. Where say? Pass the ball.
To the left,
Pass the ball.
to the right.
And then there are ones that Song Rev, right? Song Rev do this too. You remember it?
Trinbago massive. Watch it. We coming strong. World Cup soccer in the air.
Yes.
But the people afraid. Say we can make the grade. TNT proceeding without a fear. And we just can't stop till we reach the top. But this time I want the whole world to know we not only brilliant in calypso.
Yes.
So we go give them goal from the left side. Goal from.
And listen, this had a video used to go around with it. Boy, if you remember this, real old. But that video used to go with this song, showing Leonson Lewis and Kerry Jameson scoring some bullet. Boy, listen.
TNT, we want a goal. TNT, we want a goal. Oh yeah.
So somebody had to tell me, like, what is the reason, like, we just decide that there's no more Strike Squad? And you know, I was talking before about the influence that Brother Resistance had, and you hear it in the Kindred song too, talking about Lancelot Lane being one of his biggest influences. Listen to this. If you don't know who Lancelot Lane is, put water in your eye, you know. And this is the way I'm feeling now under Angus Eve.
We have a good thing going. Togetherness make it so. So while the mobile land is flowing,
Not so much under Fenwick.
I want people to know.
Yes?
We play this game for both you and me. Good am I, but great are we.
Loud.
We have a
Good thing going.
with football and TNT.
And you can't leave all the bosses.
16 years ago in Haiti, we were denied fame and glory.
On the road to Germany.
A new breed, similar journey,
Oh Lord.
trying to erase that memory.
And it's like, no more World Cup there for we.
On the road,
Bamba de duba.
on the road,
Bamba de duba. On the road.
we go in Italy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. On the road, bamba de buba.
On the road.
Ah, yeah, yeah, ah, yeah, yeah.
On the road.
We go in Italy.
Yeah.
Hey, Tansley, you here? She's a true Trini. What's the man on the wing?
Yes. And listen, super touches, you know.
Dribble down there.
Dribble down there.
What's that shot?
Bamba de
Dribble
duba.
down there. Dribble down there. Mama woke up fever in tongue.
Yes.
Bacchanal in the stadium.
On the road.
We go in Italy.
Yes.
Calypso football at its best.
Yes.
TNT versus the rest.
On the road.
We go in Italy. Hey, hey. Captain Morris and old Spider-Man. Francis Boston and William.
Yes.
Lawrence Allen York and Latra P. All of them on the journey. Charles Alabi, Morris, Jameson, Chineskin and Lewis. On the road. On the road. On the road. We go in Italy.
Now listen, now while you listen back that verse familiar and tell me how much of names you remember. Do you remember them names? Leonce Lewis, Kerry Jameson, Brian Williams, Clayton Morris, Elliot Alain, Hudson Charles, Earl, Spider-Man Carter, Maurice, Michael. I shouldn't bring up that name, but yeah, I mean, I just say not to say. Like, I can't figure out why we just disconnect completely from it. And, like, when you talk about Brazilian fans, they talk about samba football. Like, you hear him saying that in that song, Super Blue, or Blue Boy at the time, probably. Yeah, Blue Boy. Saying, Calypso football at its best. You know, it's like we don't want to create a brand for ourselves. I'm not sure if the reason behind it is that we lost and all of we was in so much of pain and all this kind of thing, and we never wanted to hear the term strike squad again and Jack Warner and the Kyrie from South, and I don't know if those are the issues associated with it, but I just find it to be a strange thing. Like, why would you like just kill off a winning brand or something that we have that is ours and doing so well? So salute to Angus for bringing back a little hope. We get some licks, but I feel like the general sentiment is that we have something that we could back. We have something that we could support now. And I was glad to see that people went to Texas for the games. They went to take it in. You know, you have a contingent of Trinidadians who went and watched them. And I hear Leroy Span saying it. He said, well, that we boys, you know what I mean? That we had to support them. And that's why a lot of people, there's this argument that people who are abroad are more patriotic than people who home. I don't buy into that, right? But what I believe is that when you're abroad, you start to appreciate home a lot more because of how much different things you're missing. So when you're not getting no slice of home at all, you're glad to go. With all the controversy we have here about who sponsored the team and who this and who that, and they go and they buy the jerseys and they show up in the stadiums and things. So salute to them fans, them foreign-based ones, the fresh waters. Thanks for showing up in your bold jersey and your tall socks and all these things and your fanny pack. We appreciate that you're supporting the side overall. All right, listen, I don't know how... Listen, this is an hour in and we didn't talk nothing, no serious thing yet. We're only talking about... Oh, this is a whole music episode. Is that DJ? But yeah, I don't talk about this thing with vaccines. Because we're in a situation now where we are real vaccine, more vaccine than people. Well, at least we are more first dose than people in the country. And I don't know how people feeling about it because I get my first dose. I think Friday here I have my second dose to get. And I find that, I don't know if it's maybe I'm just talking to more people now, but the more I talk to people is the more I realize that people still very hesitant about taking the vaccine. I don't know if it's because I'm talking to more people now or just getting more opinions now that the vaccine, or now that I get the vaccine, I'm paying more attention to it. But I find the level of vaccine hesitancy a little high in the country. So like people worried about this, that, and the third. Some people say it's the mark of the beast. So the feedback I get is the mark of the beast. So church people in white. Then is what they say, boy? Is rushed and with guinea pigs. So them in white. And then some people waiting for Pfizer. I hear the doc say if you're waiting for Pfizer, you had to go back in time. You had to drink from the fountain of youth, because that is only for people who are under 18 who go and get Pfizer when it reaches the gift from the States. But people still seem to be a little hesitant about the vaccine. Another thing you're hearing a lot is like, well, you can't travel to certain countries without the vaccine. And I suspected that would always be the case. Or I think that people saying that Canada, if you go in Canada, they wouldn't accept you if you get the Sinopharm vaccine or whatever it is. I mean, I don't plan to go Canada no time soon. I don't plan to get COVID and drop out neither. So I said, let me get some kind of protection, some kind of safeguard. I think that's what people missing. I don't think the vaccine perfect. I don't think any vaccine perfect. I also don't think any medication that we ever take perfect. And I mean, like I tell somebody the other day, I like lick up about 3 Cinnabons the other night. I hungry, I bust up them thing, warm, nice Cinnabons. A vaccine can't be worse for you than them Cinnabons I eat with that cinnamon sugar and things. So, I mean, if it's guinea pigs, well, I cool with that. Let me be the guinea pig and now we're sending it out there. And if I can't go Canada, I'm comfortable with that too. I didn't plan to go. At the rate I see, well, borders open now, but the rate that I see on Caribbean Airlines, it looks like I will never be able to afford to go Canada in my life again. So that done too. So that wouldn't matter to me where the vaccine concerned. But there's one part of it that I want to talk about that I do find. I ain't giving my opinion about it yet. I just find it iffy right now. Maybe by next week I would have thought this all the way through. But I saw that they're saying now, more and more ways now, it is going to be mandatory for you to take the vaccine. So first, the travel thing is one. So according to what countries you're going to, they have travel bans on different countries if their COVID numbers high, or issues with you if you have this vaccine or the next vaccine or whatever it is. That's one. You're also seeing a little bit of an issue creeping up where countries now starting to tell people, listen, if you're going in public spaces and them kind of thing, you can't come in unless you're vaccinated. I saw that in England. And I figured when I start to see it, we'd hear more about it here. So when they said reopening a restaurants, KFC and Mario's come out and say, you had to get vaccinated to come back to work. No, I saw an article in the papers by my guy Courtney McNish. I can't remember. I don't have the article in front of me. I can't remember where he was saying he was for or against, but I know him as an IR person. But the initial thing that I was hearing is that if you already have people on contract, people already work by you, you can't now just change the contract to mandate that they take the vaccines. But I think now I remember, Courtney McNish was saying that in your contract, you could make an adjustment based on something like terms for work or something like that. And he's saying that the employer can, in fact, tell you that you had to take the vaccine. Now, it gone as far as to being posed to the Prime Minister as a question. And he said, kind of like maybe always under consideration, like you could make the thing vaccine if it's for the safety, mandatory if it's for the safety of everybody and them things. I'm not sure how people feeling about that. I want to hear how the pro-vaccine people or the people who already have the vaccine, do you think that it is right for the government to mandate that everybody has to take the vaccine? I'm not sure how you're policing that. Our system to do the vaccination was clearly not digital and well recorded or anything like that. So it makes me wonder, like, what is the process for trying to figure out who still need to be vaccinated in the country and did not come to get a vaccine? It only makes me believe that government services will be withheld if you can't come with your vaccine card. So, which means if you had to go in the public healthcare system, or you had to go BIR, or you had to go licensing, or when you present yourself there, will they go as far as to say, I have to show my vaccination card, otherwise you can't come in or we can't deal with you? That would be the best way for the government to monitor or maintain a system where people have to be vaccinated. I'm not sure I'm so comfortable with that, you know. So when private employers said it, I see a thing going wrong saying boycott KFC and Mario's, but that ain't even get the boy, you know, them legs never went anywhere. Because the reality is people wait too long to get restaurant food for you to come and talk about boycott. No, it was not important enough and people just decided, hey, here we're going on. We're not doing it. You know what I mean? We out of that. You go and boycott by yourself. We're going to get chicken up and wait. So there's no real way to boycott the government. Is there? Like if you need public services or you need to go to public, But what they gonna do? Tell you have vaccine cards to go for public. So if you had to go on the bus or on the ferry or on the flight to Tobago, they're gonna ask you for a vaccine card. Then I just find it's a slippery slope, especially because I take the vaccine already. So let me call myself pro-vaccine, right? I cannot blame nobody if they're frightened to take the vaccine. I don't like to debate people about it, to be honest with you. Because the way I see it is this. The vaccine gives me a certain level of coverage. So if people don't take it, they're saying that a lot of people were complaining about these statements. The unvaccinated are a threat to the vaccinated. And I saw a doctor break it down to say basically, listen, if people remain unvaccinated and they start spreading the virus all over, that is where new strains and all those things have time to develop. And I don't know nothing about them things. So if new strains come out, they already have new strains now, and I suspect that after we take these 2 shots, we get Sinopharm, who get AstraZeneca. That was the only 2 shots in Trinidad really so far. And if the Johnson & Johnson still come in, I find that getting swept away slowly but surely. We ain't hearing nothing else about that. But even if that's the case, and that come, I feel we go end up getting more vaccines every year, as booster shots and them kind of thing. They don't know enough about the virus now to say that this vaccine is finite. So I can understand people who are fearful of taking it. Some people say, boy, they're young and they're healthy, not COVID ain't go do them nothing. I don't want to be one of them people because I'm fearful of the long-term effects of COVID at my age. If you're young and you're healthy and strong, I suppose you can take a different level of chances, but I do believe that. I mean, look, I talking it out loud here, and look how much of pro and con I have just in my mind. And that's why I feel it should remain as a personal decision. I understand this thing where we need a certain amount of the population to be vaccinated to start back to operate openly. But I just want the pro-vax people, like myself, to spare a thought for, what if we're wrong about this? What if one of them vaccination brands didn't do a good job with the testing or something like that? Why a man must go ahead and do that? I could understand campaigns, encourage people, allay fears, explain to people more. Because somebody I spoke to, I think it's somebody who was working by us. She was saying that at first she was hesitant to take the vaccine. But then there was something that she saw where a doctor came on... if it's not read 96.7, it's 95.5, one of them have a doctor coming on after lunch. And she said that the way he broke down everything, it simplified it for her. And she said, I believe she said she called the radio station, she talked to them and, get to talk to the doctor and the doctor explained. I feel like there's a better way of getting to 70% than telling people they have to take it. Because, hear me out for a minute. If people are fearful of it and they have conspiracy theories and religious theories and all kind of things as to why they wouldn't take it, you don't think coming out and mandating it makes it worse? Like they believe in those theories more now. They say, see, they're going to force me to take it now because they know it's the microchip, they're tracking me. It's the magnet on your arm, or is the mark of the beast, you know what I mean? That they're forcing me. This is the end of times and thing. You had to spare thought for people, so it's like, why not use different methods and try to convince people and educate people and show people, well, hey, listen, from a religious standpoint, this has nothing to do with nothing. From a physical standpoint, there's what I just find that is a better approach overall. And I don't have a conclusion on it, to be honest. I might be just here talking about my feelings overall because I personally not going to tell people who work in by us, you have to get the vaccine or you can't come back to work. I'm not doing that. I can't do that. I can't do that. I mean, I don't want to go as far as to say if somebody get the vaccine and they die, that doesn't mean I will feel so, you know what I mean? Anyway, give me a week again to come back to that and let you see where it goes. But I suspect that globally, mandatory vaccination is going to become more and more as these countries realize, whether it's France, it's England, these states don't really look like them too concerned. But they seem to be more and more in a position where they're not going through a state of another lockdown economy or can't afford it. So they go in the route of saying, you have to take the vaccine, and that's the only way we could go back to operate fully. I mean, the states operating sort of X the board, but I even saw with them, they were telling, because at first, if must be Fauci and them come and say, hey, what's going on? Wear the mask. Don't wear no mask. If you remember that little thing had come out, if you're vaccinated thing, don't wear no mask and that kind of thing. I see California gone back to mask wearing now. Even that, the constant changing of the statements. And I understand that they're only changing statements because new information coming to the table. So at first they say we don't need masks, masks not going to help, then all of us wearing masks now. It's because new information coming to the table and they're adjusting it. But just keep in mind that when people fearful of something, any discrepancy or mixed message or I said this but I changed my mind and I come back here, any of those things will be seen as bolstering whatever conspiracies that people have. You get me? All right, so on to the more serious things. They say no sex in Tokyo. Tokyo, apparently, I surely see this going wrong, yeah? But I can't believe that this is even matter. Now, this is something that they always talk about in the Olympic Village, right? They say in the Olympic Village, there's a lot of pipe sharing because I don't know what they feel you go do when you take all that steroids and smoke all that weed and your race done. Or you don't throw your shot put and thing. You looking for everybody in the young and fit and fertile. What they feel going to happen over there. But apparently, they're reading this from the Tribune. They say, in view of the raging pandemic, Tokyo Olympic organizers have decided to enforce social distancing. They are promoting anti-sex beds so that all athletes stay away from one another and don't become too intimate. The beds are made of cardboard and can take the weight of one person. So apparently, if you put two people, tell them man on the Facebook, it's Olympic athletes. You say, this is finely tuned machines you're talking about. So the amount of talk man and woman creating on that bed when them thing. I don't know if, and listen, I don't know if in Tokyo, it have a thing called grung. Because in Trinidad here, it have a thing called grung, right? Where when bed making too much of noise, or bed, it has some bed where it has too much of bunks. It has too much, it don't give. It's grung. We know about floor. What you talking about? Can't know it to run. It's the grung. The earth is what we putting here on, you understand? So I don't know what you're thinking about in Tokyo. But I see they come out and say it's fake news too. Because man, like I don't know if he do this for his parents, but he decided to make a video jumping up on the bed to show that the bed's sturdy, and he basically that is like he's another bat signal to show them woman in Tokyo that he bed's sturdy. So in case you decide that you need a little something, that is the man to check. But apparently they say it's just sustainable materials. It makes sense. You have to salute these countries for how they think about things, boy. I always vex with Trinidad because we do things with utility only in mind. So when we build our bed, we build the ugliest sort of thing. You just knock up and it's looking like nothing, you know what I mean? They do something nice with the cardboard and things, so it's this easily disposable and it's sustainable materials and it's not harmful to the environment. And they even make the little dresser, little chest of drawers out of cardboard because I think it'll be there forever. It make perfect sense. Salute to them again, man. You have to like these people how they think through things and the way they do things over there. But I mean, by the time I'm talking to Oli again, the Olympics open. We thought we'd never had Olympics. It could get postponed from last year. Look, we on the verge of another Olympics here. And we have some athletes. You know what I mean? Michelle Liai looking like if she warming up. Keshawn looking like if he warming up. You know what I mean? Who else we have there? Andrew the sailing man. He doing anything? If he be inside with the sailing, where get me up? We have a girl in the taekwondo. Well, no, there's not taekwondo. It's judo. She should be up there. So I'm hoping that, matter of fact, I'm going with the Leroy Span approach to this. I don't care how we do. I'm there and I'm supporting Trinidad regardless. To be honest with you, I find the kit a little uglier. I don't know if people like this Olympic kit. Why we kit have to be so ugly? Is an ugly kit thing for the whole Olympics? Like Olympics is do a standard thing for everybody. To me, like I remember they say Sadella Mali had designed a kind of bad kit for the Jamaican team one year when they went. Who designed our thing? Like Anya or somebody? We have somebody down here who doing this work because the kit look a little suspect. Puma and thing a good brand, but oh god boy, I find it look a little shaky. People seem to have like the Warriors little kind of Indian chief looking jerseys and things. So I don't know if you could get somebody to design it. I don't like it at all. But we there and we supporting the Olympians regardless of what it is they do. And we hoping for a little goal. When it is Keshawn win the goal? Like 1940 something, like a long time ago, we didn't really catch a goal or catch some medals in a little while. But I'm hoping that I think that's 2012. That would be Emerson born here. 2012 would be when he win the goal. In 2016, I believe he went back and that's the last Olympics. He got bronze there. But in 2012, we also we should have gold for that by now, no so? when it had Lalon and Cedeno and them had win when it is they win out the relay. We didn't win out a relay at time. And then also before we went out a relay, we also had a situation where we come to it or something like that, but we get bump up by all the people who would have been taking drugs and all these things. So we have some medals in the bag. So I'm hoping that Tokyo is just like that, and you know what I mean? We don't just make use of the cardboard beds. Make use of the cardboard beds after the scene. And you know what I mean? If Michelle, you get a cardboard bed, that might mash up. But make use of it after. Let me go there and give it best and come back with something. As a matter of fact, I wonder if they want to get Angus a work to carry the Olympic team to Tokyo. Nobody never studied to send Angus there, to send the whole squad, since he's inspiring people. If you're inspiring people, you're inspiring people. So all the best to them. And by the time we get back, I didn't even know what list of events and things. I will check that for next week. So when we talk again next week, we will talk about that. But of course, I personally looking forward to it. As I say, I'm taking the Leroy Span approach as supporting his side, win, lose, or draw. Because one thing we're sure about is it don't matter what is happening in the rest of the Olympics or what is going on in the country or how bad things is. There's no feeling better than when you're hearing your own national anthem.
Together we aspire, together we achieve.
Right.
That's our national anthem.
What?
No, that's our Watchwords national anthem is discipline, production, and tolerance.
Listen, that Prado, they need to check out that Prado that man getting, because he man ain't getting no nitrous. But like that Prado leaking, that gas fumes in that Prado, the man say discipline, tolerance, and production is the national anthem. No, I mean, together we aspire, together we achieve. But listen, I can't even bad talk this man, you know. Because I want to laugh and sing it, but to be honest with you, I struggle with these things, you know. I mean, the anthem is a song, so I don't think I would have made that mistake, right? But you see this national pledge, national anthem, and national watchwords that they beat me to learn so much. I struggle with them thing bad. I don't know if people are willing to admit this. Only laughing at Terrance. I mean, Terrance really sleepy. Poor fella. I mean, the man are wrong about damn applause, man. The man working hard. The man working all out. Yeah, and you know, and I didn't plan to talk about this again, but you see the same thing coming up about the vehicle we was talking about. Terrance and them go and buy the expensive vehicle. Munila and them bad talking the vehicle. Turn out he had the same car the man have. Other opposition members coming out and say that they defending the car and thing. These people in and when I say government, I mean opposition and government. If they have exemption, let the people go and buy whatever car they could afford. But anyway, Terrance is tired in his heart. He's working hard. He had to go there and talk every single day. The man ain't got nothing right in the whole statement. You know, if it was common entrance, he failed. The man say, together we aspire to... But let me get it right now. Together we aspire, together we achieve is the motto. I hope I have that right. And discipline, tolerance, and production is the watchwords. And then the anthem is the anthem, right? And then which one it is on the coat of arms? Together we aspire. I think now, I wonder if I have $1 somewhere. Let me Google this, because now me ain't going to laugh at Terrance here, and then I come out singing like a damn fool, you know. National watchwords, because I tell Nolly I'm not good at this at all, you know. National watchwords are... Why is it so hard to find? Why can't I just come up on Google? Can I just suggest? Right. So discipline, production, and tolerance. I always thought it was discipline, tolerance, and production. The order matter? Okay, well, they have it on the website of the Office of the President as discipline, tolerance, and production. They say the origin. Let me learn something now. Message to the youth of the nation, Dr. Eric Williams, in a speech delivered the Independence Youth Rally at the Queen's Park Oval on the 30th of August 1962, the eve of our independence from Britain, to soon to be citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I have given to the nation as its watchwords discipline, production, and tolerance. They apply to us as much to you, the young people, as it did to your parents. And he gave a breakdown too. Discipline. The discipline is both individual and national. The individual cannot be allowed to seek his personal interests and gratify his personal ambition at the expense of our nation. I wonder if Dr. Williams knows what he writes here, boy. Let me repeat what he said about discipline. That's so uncanny. Discipline is both individual and national. The individual cannot be allowed to seek his personal interests and gratify his personal ambition at the expense of our nation. Production. He said, we must produce in order to enjoy. Yes, man. Wealth does not drop from the skies for any individual or nation. Yes, man. Give him a round of applause. Tolerance. To translate the idea of our national anthem into a code of everyday behavior and to make our nation one in which every creed and race find an equal place. So let's see, the doctor himself who created these things, the anthem was mentioned in here. Terrance had the thing figured out. He said tolerance is to translate the ideal of our national anthem. So the thing interwoven in a kind of way that we, and we're laughing at the man. But I remember, so what is, if these are the watchwords, what is the together we aspire? Let me see the national motto. Let me see if that meaning too. I educated myself here, while we go along, because I tell you I have problems with this. Alright, apparently TT Connect is the place to find out the motto, not the president place. So the motto, that ain't an explanation. Just together we aspire, together we achieve. It's self-explanatory apparently. So the man mix up the thing. But you know what happened to me at time in primary school? I had a teacher named Miss Sinclair. God bless Miss Sinclair. I'm a standard 5 teacher. If it wasn't for her, my life in a whole different path were it not for Miss Sinclair, because she beat the learning into we, but she also drilled us in a kind of way where you couldn't forget. You had to pass for your first choice back then because she was on top of we boy. And I remember I no more work we in standard 5 on top of things in the A stream. So once you have an exam, again 90-something% and I come in 15th and 20th and 25th in class and thing. Unless you're 95 and above, you're not up there. But I no more work. So she come asking questions and thing, and this would have probably be in social studies. And she say must be motto, must be this, that. What's the national bird? What's the national birds? Coquelicot and scarlet ibis, right? What is the national flower? Listen, I'm not good at these things, They're right here going through all, before we wrap up this podcast, I'm going to learn about all this. But she was asking these questions, and primary school children, the exuberance when you know the answer. So you're jumping up in your little short pants, miss, me, miss. And we towering over the class for her to choose who. And I remember she asked about the watchwords. And I know it, so I pop man high. And she eventually picked me. I say, miss, with pride in my chest high, I stand up and I say, miss, the national watchwords are discipline, tolerance, and reproduction. It's about licks. It was a genuine mistake, because I really thought it was reproduction. But I mean, the way thing going here, I would not be far off. But before we go, let me go through the thing now. Let me do, everybody don't be like me. The birds could confirm scarlet ibis and coquelicot. Any kind of reason for these things? No kind of reason for that. What is the national flower? I don't know these things at all. No, Stacy go kill me because she's been teaching Zachary this whole time. National flower is the Chiconia. National flower, the Chiconia, called wild poinsettia or pride of Trinidad and Tobago, is a flaming red forest flower of the family. I don't know what that word is. Rubensis, whatever that is. I thought it was the Balize, I didn't realize it was the thing. The pledge. We'll learn this damn thing today. I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of my God and my country. I will honor my parents, my teachers, my leaders, my elders, and those in authority. I'll be clean and honest in all my thoughts, words, and deeds. I will strive in everything I do to work together with my fellow men of every creed and race for the greater happiness of all and the honor and glory of my country. You see, that's something well written, man. What else we have? We just have a section called Steel Pan. I know that. I guess we just have a section called Steel Pan. So I guess the pan. And they tell you what height and all them things. So yeah, sorry for the Deyalsingh, boy. The Deyalsingh, you need to get some sleep. You're doing a piece of work, fellas. But I don't know how you could be so wrong in one statement. You get one statement so wrong in so many different ways. But it's funny when you look at own watchwords and the thought that went into it by the doc. And you look at what happened in the world today. The whole world could do with some of our watchwords, because we watched a situation happen with Haiti last week. And Haiti seemed to be in turmoil still with the killing of their president. As I say, people trying to link it back to whether it's vaccines or they didn't want to accept this from Chinese, or he was holding the reins of power for too long and not letting the democratic process take presidents and all kind of different theories, but Haiti in turmoil. I see the same thing happening in Cuba, where people fed up, they feel like they're living under. It is the combination of the lockdown with the pandemic and the fact that, you know, the life of a livelihood thing, people ain't allowed to make money, was already feeling, may have already been feeling restricted in Cuba in terms of their freedoms. So they take to the streets and they in protest and stuff. You've seen it in India. I see in France, people come out in large numbers in the streets to say that anytime they go and they make vaccines mandatory, people are against it. And then again, South Africa, the turmoil breaking out in these places. And it's such a sad thing to see around the world, boy. Because, I mean, I'm feeling like we had enough of this, and I don't want nobody send me nothing to do with no new nothing coming out of China again. Because the new thing now seems to be every week somebody sending something that's saying a monkey disease now coming out, and by this time you have to take vaccine for the monkey one, and a new strain, and it's a Brazilian and a thing. Listen, we can't take no more of them kind of news, and it's looking like, you know, me and the most biblical man it have on Revelation and the end of times and them kind of things. But when you look at how much going on in the world today, I had to ask myself, is it that we just have so much more news that you're seeing more of this stuff going on out there now? Or is it really a case of just a lot more turmoil than we'd ever faced before? I don't know. I know is the answer to that, but I feel like I had to stop watching so much of news. I can't do it no more. Like, every time you see one of these things, and I had to commend the people of Trinidad and Tobago too for being some of the most patient people. Because we bad talk the government, we come here, I myself just come here and cuss them out. Opposition and government are fed up at them. I'm fed up here, Rowley talk. I don't know why you come back Saturday to say a bunch of nothing for again. But at the same time, we tend to grumble, but we obey the law of the land. For the, you know, we like to say we lawless and who go jackass he seen and who go in and line up. But when you check it out, we really obey whoever is the leader, whether it's UNC or PNM or NAR or whoever we have. Well, not so much NAR. We didn't really obey them for too long. But generally speaking, we live without revolting or looking to overthrow the people. Rowley say we have to say, but laugh at time and say, well, gas prices going up, nobody in riot yet. And we not the most riotous people it have. It seems as though we figure out a way to work around it, work through it, and maintain the peace, because we had enough over the few. Imagine if the San Fernando people now decide they go revolt and walk up and block High Street and them kind of thing. You find that we have, as much as they like to talk about the way we operate, we do very little of that. And even in cases where we get fed up, like the Andrea Barrett situation, they do it in a very, very peaceful way. You go by the Red House and you do a vigil. People can say what you want about the vigil. It wasn't violent or aggressive or nothing in any way. When you're seeing how many different things going on, and it's like how much again the world could take, you know what I mean? So thank God we are who we are, and we're finding some kind of peace, and we can make joke here every week and eat some doubles and eat some KFC. Man said the Royal Castle tasting stink. I could tell you the Royal Castle was real bad when they closed the day last time, because like them just fry what they had straight out the freezer. They didn't bother to season nothing. Them just decided to sell whatever. So I ain't surprised to hear it bad. I gave them a couple of days. I need the oil to get stale again, so I could get the real grease up in me. But I mean, the whole state of the world today, of course, leads me right back to Brother Resistance on this song. Yes.
Let my vibes be one with you, Mother Earth. I only want to know you.
I only want to know you, Mother.
To know you is to love you,
Mother Earth.
Oh, Mother Earth. Is it too late? 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 Is it too late
to save the earth?
To come and save the earth. you all things material go return. You is the heartbeat of man's survival, Mother Earth. Provider of food when I hunger, fountain of water when I thirst, oh Mother Earth. In your womb, centuries of seeds does be planted. Blessed be the fruit of thy womb, Mother Earth. So much harvest you deliver, yet we take you for granted, Mother. Your beauty with the face,
Yes.
destroying the trees in the forest, distressing the ozone layer, polluting the waters with acid rain and toxic waste.
Yes. But, yes.
I only want to know you. I only want to know you, Mother. To know you is to love you,
Mother Earth.
oh Mother Earth. Is it too late? 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 Is it too late to save the earth? Can we save the earth? Let my vibes be one with you, Mother Earth. Let my vibes be one with you, Mother Earth. If no one tender, fertile lover, Mother Earth, oh Mother Earth. Take me in your arms and rock me. Take me in your arms and rock me,
Yes.
Mother Earth, Mother Earth. If no one tender, fertile lover.
Yeah, Mother Earth. Yeah, leaving it with that one, you know. So we leaving that one, the great Lutalama Simba. Great. Brother Resistance. And we leaving that as a prayer for not just the nation, but the world. We're looking for healing. You can see this kind of thing coming out of China. And the next one, we don't want the next one. We want to get these 800,000 vaccine. We want to take it, win, take it. But we want to be free. And we don't want no more problems. I want to be behind this thing. So I'll leave you with that one with Brother Resistance. And we go talk again next week. Bye.